So I decided to rank every single brawler in Brawl Stars from worst to best. So to do this, I ranked every single brawler in the 6 different 3v3 modes from 1 to 5. Now, due to the fact that Carl is really strong right now, this meta, I would say, is a really aggressive meta. So those kind of aggressive brawlers are going to tend to be a lot better, whereas those that like low HP, those kind of weaker brawlers are going to be a lot less strong in this type of meta. Okay, now coming in at 58 to 55, we have Jackie, Nita, Mr. P, and Dynamite. Obviously, all of them pretty awful in this kind of meta. Don't really have a mode they shine in. You know, Dynamite, Mr. P, obviously really weak to any kind of aggro, and Nita and Jackie just don't really have anywhere that you would want to play them, so they're rubbish. Okay, coming in at number 54 and 53, then we have El Primo and Edgar. Both of them, I would say, you can use Edgar and Primo in Heist, which means they have one mode where they're kind of okay in maps like Hot Potato, but apart from that, you're not really going to see these brawlers. Now, next up from 52 to 50, we have Bull, Shelly, and Meg. So Meg definitely going to be really good, or not really good, but usable, pretty usable on Hot Zone. You have Shelly, which obviously is going to be good against any kind of tank comps. Anytime you face more than 2 tanks, just whip out that Shelly if you can, and that's going to counter them. And then we have Bull, which is obviously really good on Heist, in particular on maps like Hot Potato. Okay, then from 49 to 47, we have Colt, Frank, and Sandy. So Colt going to be really good on those Heist maps, in particular on maps like Safe Zone, just being able to do a ton of damage. Also pretty usable on the Hot Zone. We also have Frank, going to be very good on Brawl maps, in particular like Super Stadium. Well, pretty good, at least a decent counter Ash, but very usable on Hot Zone maps as well, in particular maps like Split that are kind of shorter range. Then we have Sandy, of course, going to be good on those grassier maps like the double swooshes, good in gem grab, pretty solid in Brawl as well. And yeah, these 3 brawlers pretty decent. Okay, then so from 46 to 41, we have a few brawlers here tying on the same points. We have Otis, Lou, Rosa, Tara, Barley, and Grom. So starting off with Otis, I feel like Otis hasn't really found a good mode. Okay, definitely on the weaker side of brawlers, but yeah, not really too good in anything. Then we have Lou. Lou definitely really good in the Hot Zone, and also pretty strong against like tankier brawlers like the Ashes, and obviously just the tanks in general. And then we have Rosa. Rosa obviously going to be a pretty good pick on those kind of more grassy maps. Decent, obviously. Oh, very good on Snake Prairie, which is obviously a really grassy map. Good on gem grab maps like Double Swoosh. Also pretty good on a few Brawl maps, in particular like Center Stage and any kind of maps with a lot of grass. Then we have Tara in 43. Again, same story. Good on those grassy maps like Snake Prairie, Double Swoosh. Good in Brawl and gem grab in general. Then we have Barley at number 42. Barley really not good in this meta. As I said, you know, it's a really aggressive meta. So I guess we just do Barley and Grom kind of similar here. Barley maybe good and, you know, okay on Super Stadium, but it's a way too aggressive meta to really play too much Barley, and you can't even play Barley in really Bounty or Knockout, so that definitely makes Barley not as usable at all. And Grom, the reason Grom's slightly higher and has a lot of points is because Grom is definitely still okay in Knockout as like a last pick. So yeah, you can definitely still play some Grom, in particular on Knockout and maybe some Bounty maps. Okay, next up we have number 40 to number 35. We have Brock, Jesse, Nani, BB, Mortis, Ems. So yeah, Brock definitely really good in Heist, pretty usable on Bounty and some Knockout maps as well. Jesse, pretty underrated, I would say. Like really good against anything aggressive. Any kind of max comp's gonna be good against. Also really strong against Pam, 8-bit, other kind of turret comps can be pretty good against. So Jesse definitely pretty underrated, really good at definitely Hot Zone and gem grab in particular, but decent on Brawl as well. Then we have Nani, of course. Nani's an absolute beast in Bounty, really strong now maps like Shooting Star, but also usable in Knockout and some Heist maps like Safe Zone. Then we have BB at number 37. So I feel like BB is pretty good. You can definitely use BB on a ton of short range maps, on like a load of different maps and modes, but in particular kind of gem grab and Brawl. Then we have Mortis at number 36. Again, Mortis not too good in this meta, but I would say Mortis always going to be pretty high up there, just because if you do have the right matchups, if you're against weak brawlers, if you're against throwers, Mortis is going to be able to dominate as usual. Then number 35, we have Ems. Of course, Ems going to be really good against tanks, and has been kind of definitely shining a little bit in this meta more than kind of other metas, I would say, because anytime you face like an Ash or kind of a Carl, anything aggressive, Ems is going to be able to deal with them pretty well. Okay, so tied from 34 to 32, we have Griff, 8-bit, and Poco. So starting with a Griff, really well-rounded brawler, not really usable in Bounty and Knockout, but the other 4 modes going to be really solid for Griff. In particular, Heist and the Hot Zone probably the best 2, but definitely usable in all 4 of those modes, and really solid, especially in a kind of aggressive kind of meta. Then we have 8-bit. Again, 8-bit, one of the best kind of gem carries and mids in gem grab that you can Tick, really good in some heist maps as well. Good damage. Then we have Poco. Again, it being quite an aggressive meta. You can definitely put Poco into a lot of like Poco Carl comps, Poco Pam comps, stuff like that. So yeah, Poco definitely not too bad. Kind of Brawl Ball gem grab and pretty much usable in any mode. Okay, so tied from 31 to 29, we have Surge, Stu, and Spike. So Surge coming in at 31. Definitely really solid. Again, pretty much usable in, I'd say, every single mode and map. Well, not every map, but definitely every mode. Not too good, I would say, in knockout, but definitely really solid in kind of Brawl Ball and gem grab, and very solid overall. Again, similar story with Stu. Doesn't really get countered by a lot. Definitely pretty good against a range of different stuff, and yeah, just solid overall. Then we have Spike at number 29. Spike's definitely fallen out a little bit of this meta, I'd say, maybe because Carl does counter Spike quite a bit. But yeah, I just don't really see a lot of Spike anymore. Definitely, I felt like it's the penny, kind of the penny Carl being really strong. Those are two like really good counters to Spike, so that's probably why Spike has fallen out of the meta quite a bit. Then tied from 28 to 25, we have Eve, Colette, Tick, and Amber. So Eve, again, just I feel like Eve's just a brawler you play on kind of maps with a lot of grass, like out in the open on knockout, or like a safe zone, or say a bounty map like Canal Grande. Any map where water is kind of prominent, you can definitely put Eve there, and Eve's gonna do some work. 27, we have Colette. Obviously, Colette's an absolute beast on heist, but really good at just dealing with tanks in general. Pretty much usable on any map and mode as long as you're against like one or more tank. Then we have Tick at 26. Again, not too good, but definitely still like a 4 on knockout and bounty. Probably just even in aggressive meta, you can still play them. You can still play throwers on bounty and knockout, and obviously Tick is probably gonna be the strongest thrower against kind of aggressive brawlers. Then we have Amber. So Amber coming in at number 25. Then obviously really well rounded and can kind of be fit into aggressive comps with the likes of Max, Amber, Carl. Definitely work out pretty well. Next up, we have 6 brawlers tied from 24 to 19. We have Buzz, Gale, B, Pam, Piper, and Sprout. So starting off with Buzz. Buzz is definitely really underrated. You know, some people love to play Buzz anyway. It can definitely be used in, you know, Brawl Ball, heist, knockout, bounty, pretty much anywhere, as long as you have good matchups. Those good matchups are going to be those weaker brawlers like the Pipers, the throwers, and stuff like that. Then at 23, we have Gale. Again, it being a really aggressive meta, Gale definitely being a really good counter to some of those aggressive brawlers. Gale's definitely doing pretty well in this meta. 22, we have B. Same story with B. B's going to be really good at countering those aggressive brawlers. So B's definitely really good in modes like Hot Zone, Brawl Ball, and Gem Grab, and just in general to kind of counter any aggro comps. At 21, we have Pam. Pam, again, absolute stud. Doesn't get countered by anything. Well, it kind of does, actually. Gets countered, I'd say, a little bit by Colette and Jessie. But in general, Pam, very solid against everything, and in particular, not really weak to tanks. Then at 20, we have Piper. You could make the argument Piper maybe a little bit overranked here. But yeah, anyway, Piper is going to be pretty good in knockout and bounty. Regardless, the tanks are strong. Then at 19, we have Sprout. So Sprout's definitely fallen quite a bit. Again, there's a lot of aggressive comps, but Sprout probably, I know I said Tick was good against aggro, but Sprout definitely, those walls can be a little bit more controlling in different maps and modes. Okay, then tied from 18 to 15, we have Squeak, Rico, Lola, and Byron. So Squeak, definitely really solid, but Squeak is kind of low. It feels like Squeak is kind of low. The reason, again, is just because you can't really Squeak first pick anywhere, because you're just going to get like counted against 3 aggressive brawlers. So Squeak needs to be kind of a later pick, but Squeak is definitely really good. I'm not saying Squeak's bad. I'm just saying you need to be careful when you pick Squeak. 17, we have Rico. Rico, of course, can be amazing on a ton of different maps and modes, in particular on maps like Gold Arm Gulch, Hard Rock Mine. Rico's going to be really strong also on center stage, and a ton of different other maps Rico's going to be really strong on. Not really too weak to tanks, Rico, but obviously, you know, the more closed it is, the more, you know, better it is for Rico. And number 16, then we have Lola. Again, Lola in about you know, pretty much good against everything. Really good on, you know, Jam Grab, Brawl Ball, Hot Zone, Heist, pretty much wherever you want to play Lola, with the exception of Bounty and Knockout, because they're kind of a different type of mode. But anyway, at number 15, we have Byron. Could make the you could say Byron's a bit over ranked here, because Byron is pretty weak in this aggressive meta. But the thing with Byron is you can definitely pair him with those aggressive brawlers like the Carls and like the Daryls, like the Ashes, stuff like that. So you can definitely make the argument that, you know, you can play Byron in this kind of meta. Okay, so coming in at number 14, 12 then. So at number 14, we have Ash. So Ash, obviously, NA love Ash, and, you know, really good in particular on Brawl Ball, and those more grassy maps where he's going to be able to sneak up on you and stuff like that. At number 13, then we have Ruffs has obviously fallen quite a bit because he's very weak to aggression. So yeah, definitely hasn't helped him out, but still really solid and usable in pretty much every single mode and most maps as well. So yeah, Ruff still remains very solid pick, I would say. And then at number 12, we have Fang. So of course, Fang be one of those best aggressive brawlers to kind of capitalize on or playing against other weak brawlers. So, you know, if someone's picking a Squeak, someone's picking a Thrower early, definitely look to pick something like a Fang to kind of counter them. Okay, and then next up, we have 11 and 10 tied then. So we have Bonnie at number 11. So of course, Bonnie, one of the new brawlers in the game. Really high HP, good range, and honestly, really good scores across the board. Like pretty much 3s and 4s in every single mode because, yeah, Bonnie, really well-rounded and a solid brawler. So getting into the top 10 then, we have Leon. So I feel like Leon pretty solid again. Like not usable in Heist, but all the other modes is going to be like 3s and 4s. And definitely one of those brawlers that's going to be able to fit into an aggressive comp. I can be able to count those brawlers like Carl. And overall, very good pick. Okay, then next up, we have 9 to 7 tied up then. So starting at 9, we have Jean. Jean obviously super well-rounded, usable in every single mode, and also really good. Pretty much usable on every map as well, let's be honest here. Because just, you know, pretty much decent damage, good like scan ability, and also good HP as well. Coming at number 8, we have Crow. Again, Crow particularly going to be good against those max comps and those aggressive comps to kind of slow them down with those slowing toxin. I think that's what it's called. Gadget. And yeah, just good in general because you're going to be able to dodge pretty easy with Crow. You have decent chip damage, and obviously when you get that super as well, that's going to be a very strong super to get. At number 7, we have Daryl. Could make the argument maybe Daryl's a little bit overvalued, we could say here, because I don't know how Daryl got at 7, but I can tell you he's really well-rounded. I see him when I'm playing competitive in pretty much all the modes. Maybe on Bounty. I mean, definitely on Bounty, you're going to see a ton of him on maps like Canal Grande and Layered Cake, and then you're going to see a ton of him in Knockout. Probably a lot of him in Brawl Ball. Maybe not too much of him on Gem Grab, but in particular, you're going to see a lot of Daryl in this kind of meta because he is one of the best counters to Carl, and Carl is obviously extremely strong right now. And then coming in tied at number 6 and number 5, then we have, starting off at number 6, we have Bo. Oh, one of my favorite brawlers in the game, let's be honest. Gonna really suit a more slow style of play in like modes like Bounty and Knockout with that totem. But yeah, really usable everywhere, you know, across Gem Grab maps like Double Swoosh, Bounty maps like Snake Prairie, and just Brawl Ball maps like Center Stage for that vision. And yeah, Bo, just a great brawler. Like, why wouldn't you pick Bo? And then coming in at number 5, we have Max again. Max, of course, really being that brawler you can kind of build a comp around with that speed. You can pick 2 aggressive brawlers with him, like a Daryl and a Carl, you know, a Fang and a Carl, something like that. And you know, you're gonna blast past those Squeaks or those Throwers. And yeah, Max, honestly, getting pretty much 4s, 5s. Well, not too good in Bounty and Knockout. I did get a 2 and a 3 in those modes. But yeah, most modes, Max is gonna be really solid in. Okay, then coming in solo at number 4, completely tied, we have Belle. Belle, kind of just, yeah, an absolute solid. Like most brawlers have a game mode where they're like bad in and they got like a 1 or a 2. Belle is literally just like 3 and above for everything because there's not a mode where she's kind of bad in. It's usable in every single mode, pretty much usable in most maps as well. So Belle, just an overall beast. Okay, and just before we get into the top 3, if you're liking this kind of shooter style tier list video, make sure to subscribe. Make sure you're using code Tom in the shop, and let's get into the top 3. So starting off, number 2 and 3 actually tied with 25 points out of a total possible 30. But I'm gonna say that Janet's a number 3 because I do feel like Janet's slightly weaker than the second spot here. So Janet again doesn't have a mode where she is bad and pretty much gonna be good across the board, pretty much 4s and 5s everywhere. A kind of solid beast, I would say, and just like good damage, a cool super, and good HP as well. And Janet, yeah, really good. At number 2 then you have Penny. Now Penny got buffed, you have insane damage, you have that gadget which defends you against the more aggressive rulers like the Carls, like the Daryls, like the Fangs. If they roll on, you can pop that gadget down, essentially one, and then shoot and one burst them, or at least get your super a lot quicker. So Penny, yeah, definitely due to that recent buff, has really improved. Then of course, I've been talking about Carl this entire video. So Carl is going to be the number 1 brawler in the game right now, with a total point score of 27 out of 30. Just a beast right now, 5s and 4s across the board. Carl, definitely the best brawler in the game for me right now. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.